Hello, this is Digital Humanities in the Year of the Plague, library support of DH projects during the COVID-19 pandemic, a lightning round talk at the 2021 DLF Forum. My name is R.C. Miessler, I use he/him pronouns, and I'm the systems librarian at Gettysburg College's Musselman Library. Prior to COVID, our Digital Humanities pedagogy was primarily digital tool instruction in the classroom. Students could also take advantage of in-person office hours with Digital Scholarship Fellows, who are students who have successfully completed our Digital Scholarship Summer Fellowship, or DSSF, program. The DSSF program was developed as a residential research program, and students lived and worked together on campus, attending in-person workshops and doing research in the library. DSSF also served as training in digital humanities tools and methods for the students who would work during the academic year. Additionally, the library worked with our Center for Teaching and Learning to develop digital literacy assignment grants. These grants give a small stipend to faculty to redesign one of their assignments to include digital literacy goals, and also pay for 20 hours of student fellow support during the academic year. When COVID forced remote instruction in the spring of 2020, our support of digital projects followed suit. The switch to remote learning also meant we didn't have time to reconfigure the summer program into a remote version. For the summer of 2020, we hired 2 students who had been a part of the 2019 cohort to help us develop the TH Toolkit, a collection of tutorials that provide asynchronous support for DH assignments. While the toolkit is a great resource, because we didn't have a new cohort of students, it also meant we didn't have the opportunity to train additional student colleagues to provide support for digital literacy grants. When we hired our 2020 DSSF cohort in the spring, we were unsure how the pandemic would affect summer research programs on campus. When it was obvious that a residential program wasn't going to be possible, we gave the option to the students we hired for the summer of 2020 to join us in the fall as part of an abbreviated program. We held weekly meetings to discuss issues in DH, and they worked on smaller versions of their proposed summer projects. Since we wouldn't have the opportunity to train them as deeply into digital tools, there was no expectation they would have to work with classes. The challenge was we had a major assignment overhaul through the Digital Literacy Assignment Grant. Professor Cassie Hays in sociology wanted to totally redesign the fall 2020 senior capstone so that instead of a paper, the students would create a website showcasing their work. The students would learn marketable digital skills they could take into jobs or graduate school, and their research, normally encapsulated in a traditional paper, would be publicly available on an interactive website. Sociology capstone students would also learn data visualization tools to annotate images and develop timelines. The DSSF program would have given us 2 to 3 new students to support the class, but at the time, we only had 1 returning student from 2019. So for the sociology capstone, we heard, "Can we Zoom?" a lot. The DH Toolkit provided a lot of the how-to videos, and the synchronous remote classroom sessions allowed us to talk about user experience, wireframing, and copyright. Beyond the classroom, students were expected to meet one-on-one with me several times during the semester to discuss the progress of their project and get support for individual digital tools when they couldn't figure it out with the videos. So from how it started to how it's going, or how it went, the conversion of the DSSF program from a summer experience to a semester experience still showed the students some digital humanities tools and methods, and they were able to complete smaller versions of a project for the most part. A few of the students kept working into the spring semester as well, with a focus on finishing their projects. However, it didn't provide the same level of familiarity with DH tools and methods as our intensive summer program does. On the sociology capstone side of things, the websites the students created in the fall were overall well received by Professor Hays and the sociology department, and many of the students remarked they were glad to get the experience building a website and working with digital tools. It went well enough that the spring 2021 capstone research assignment was also converted to websites with 2 sections of the course instead of 1. So in the second year of the plague, we've had time to convert the DSSF program into a fully online version, and it worked very well, with a return to a full curriculum of teaching DH tools and methods to the students, and the students working on full-fledged research projects. From our cohort of 6, we hired 2 students who are trained in digital tools to support classes this fall, and they are currently helping out a few classes. While we still aren't sure of what this rest of the semester will bring, we plan on using a combination of in-person and remote synchronous support for classroom digital projects, as well as pointing students and classes to the DH Toolkit for tutorials and how-to videos. Thank you for your time.